It has been too long. It has been too long. It's been too long. Way, way, way too long. As has been said in previous videos, that this thing goes deep. So how long has it been since I last put up a video? Somewhere roughly in the area of a year, 8 months, something like that. So I did put out a short, I believe last time, saying that there was going to be a Why Fake Happy Part 2 coming soon. You know, and kind of gave you a little bit of a preview of what the video was going to be, but that video was not released. So why was this the case? I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, but this journey, this path it goes deep. It's way more complicated, and it's way, 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 way more misunderstood than you could ever imagine. When I say misunderstood, I mean misunderstood. So it gets to such a point where if you're seriously on the path and you're not just bullshitting and just saying you are and thinking you are, but not actually on the path, because there is no real commitment from you. But if you're actually on the path, then you will inevitably reach a point where you realize, I throw my hands up. Everyone can do what they want. It's best for me to be an example. And if anyone's genuinely interested in actually getting on this path and doing this for real, well, they'll make that evidence, and then I could, you know, proceed accordingly. But if that day doesn't come, then just be the example to the best of my ability. And what do I mean by the example? Well, we're talking about in terms of how I hold myself, the energy that I emanate, and what I create in my own life. So look, when you do this for real, at least my experience has been, your life's gonna fall apart, man. It is gonna fall apart in such, I mean, it is a good chance, anyway, I should say, I can't guarantee it, but it will fall apart in ways that might seem like unimaginably devastating. You know, so but the best way I could describe it is, it's necessary just for the creation of a life that's true and one that you actually want. And this corresponds quite often with this just corresponds with what's going on internally. So what's happening externally in terms of things breaking apart, it's just corresponding to what's going on within, and you feel it. But man, it could be brutal in terms of just your interactions with people and what seems like just a bunch of unlucky events or things happen to you. Okay, I'm gonna get myself out of the street real quick. Of course, this is gonna be edited down, but the reason this is happening now, the reason I'm actually going ahead and recording, is because I can't help myself. See, as I'm fixing my shoe right now, as things unfold, as you deconstruct the BS within, everything becomes enhanced. Your ability to learn a thing, your ability to create, your internal strength as a whole. So look, in terms of the ability to create, well, you're connected to infinite creativity. So if you're deconstructing yourself from within, then you're going to find it easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to create, because your mind is not getting in the way, because your physical mind is getting replaced with the universal mind. That's the way all of this works. This is what I can offer in terms of recording these videos, putting this out, is I can offer you real, I would say a real accounting of actual peace and progressing even deeper into infinite peace. Because right now, period, in terms of peace and what I feel day to day, it's indescribable. In terms of true anger on my part, it's a near impossibility at this point. Not saying it's impossible. Yes, there's still anger to a certain extent that can't happen. But even anger that does happen is just far more surface level, far more fleeting, and that's on its way out too. Everything bad within, all the components within that allow me to feel any negative emotions whatsoever, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit, they are fading away. They're going away. That's what's been the case for over 5.5 years of doing this work. Because in 5.5 years, I have not missed a day. And that's the thing. You don't commit to this work if you're ever going to miss a day. If you're ever going to miss a day, don't bother. You're not serious. And here's the thing about it. Here's what's so tricky about the ego, man. Here's what's so tricky about your mind. You are going to be so convinced that you know what I'm talking about, that you know what it is. But let me give you some insight. It wasn't until 2.5 years into this work where I started to actually experience on a more consistent basis coincidences that were not just coincidences, but synchronicities that were just the chance of these happening, the odds of these types of synchronicities happening. It just makes what I was experiencing nothing short of supernatural. But it's such a common thing now. And here's another thing. In terms of feeling energy breaking up within you, you can get to a point where you literally feel it break up within you. But that takes years. See, the thing is, before the considerable stuff happens, like the real considerable permanent stuff that's like mind-blowing, that opens your mind up to the idea that, wow, there's so much more going on within me in terms of the connection to the world, that in short, you're not going to be able to really appreciate what this work can do for you until you're years into it, in most cases. Now, there's many ways to get to what we could call enlightenment or awakening, but understand you're not getting it without commitment, and understand you're not getting it without going your way. Even listening to me or listening to anyone else, you still have to do things your way. You don't do things your way and you just try to follow someone else's footsteps. Well, someone else's footsteps, think of those footsteps as puzzle pieces, and those puzzle pieces are not your puzzle pieces. See, when it comes to you, you're essentially a puzzle that needs to be put together. So you have to go within, figure out the pieces that work for you, and that is going to come with a level of trial and error, a lot of trial and error. You're going to deal with a lot of bullshit. And understand, without that commitment, the willingness to do this work every day and never miss a day, you're never going to be able to do enough work on all those energetic blocks within to feel them break up enough within, to experience the potential where this could go, to be able to make it all the way. Because when you get past a certain point in terms of this work, you're probably good to go, because you'll never stop, because you'll know it's real and you know you can get to a whole different place. But the problem is society as a whole. When I say society as a whole, I mean every single facet of it. We're talking about from the news, we're talking about friends, family, school, books, your textbooks, your fiction books, your movies, your shows. The list goes on and on and on and on. All this stuff is just going to point you toward falsehood. It's going to point you toward the wrong things, everything that you shouldn't do, and it's not going to lead you to real peace. And everything in terms of mainstream society leads you to a false idea of peace, false happiness that is masquerading as real happiness. But it's so ingrained within you that to many who would hear this, they'll think I'm full of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about. I assure you that's not the case. I do assure you that this is real, and I do assure you that there's peace and happiness at levels that you can't imagine that are far worth any amount of money that you can ever get. Period. Because even going after money is just a pleasure chase. But there's this wealth of power that you can connect to in ways that no one, like almost none of the spiritual teachers, are speaking about it either. There's just the potential for you to access just insane levels of power. It's just unspeakable. It's unconscionable. It's indescribable. There's so much here. So anyway, that's essentially explaining, some of what I'm dealing with and what you have to look forward to. But also understand that Why Fake Happy is coming. But I guess this video is going to just be the prelude to that, because I was thinking I was going to start and this was going to just be Why Fake Happy 2, but I'm essentially explaining the situation in terms of Why Fake Happy 2 hasn't happened yet. But right after this, I'm going to get to recording Why Fake Happy 2. So anyway, that's that. This is UMI here. I will be posting more consistently, and here's something I'm not going to be doing. I'm no longer doing the hour count in terms of the consciousness work. Why? Honestly, I don't really have a good reason for why I'm not going to be doing that in terms of posting hours that I'm doing. I just don't feel I should do that right now. I want it to be, because put it this way, it does put out the idea that it's all about the hours you put in, and the hours do matter, but you really have to be committed. And I mean, you really have to be committed. And in the beginning, you're going to have to understand that your mind's going to battle you. So even if you know and you really feel deep down that you're on the right path and you need to just never miss a day, your mind's going to do everything it can to convince you you're wrong. Your mind's going to do everything it can to convince you what I'm saying is just bullshit and I'm not worth listening to. I'm not worth listening to because something your dad said. I'm not worth listening to because something your mom said. I'm not worth listening to because what your teacher said or a video said. Or it could be a million things. Maybe you think I'm too young to be saying this and have an idea what I'm talking about. Maybe I didn't speak enough about money or one thing or another. So countless reasons, but I will be back.